Alright, so today we're going to be starting with, the devs were kind enough to give me a key for yet another Zombie Survivors. For those who didn't see when I played the demo for this, my camera's in the wrong position, let me fix that. For those who didn't see when I played this during Steam Next Fest, not the one that happened just a little bit ago in the summer, but like the one from, I think it was fall? We played the demo of this game. And when it says yet another Zombie Survivors, this is a Survivors style game. So this is like Hall of Torment, Vampire Survivors, that kind of thing. The thing that makes this one a bit different is it's a squad though. You're not like one hunter running around the map, or one cleric running around the map, or one fighter running around the map. You're a squad of 3 people. It also isn't doing like the fantasy kind of thing, and is instead leading into, you know, zombies. So you'll have people who are like various military people, or you see like the lady in the back with the bow. But we played the demo, it is really good, but it was very, very limited content at the time we played it. And we had a really good time with it. It had enough that differentiated itself from other survivors to keep it very interesting. Unfortunately, at the time, because it was a demo, and it was a very, very early demo, like, we could only go down to like level 3 and all that kind of stuff, and that was that. Now, without further ado, we're gonna go check see what sort of options they have for like the various accessibility options. Now, just if something doesn't have accessibility option, that doesn't necessarily mean bad, but it's good to see what they have. So you can hide damage numbers and gore. Damage numbers, getting rid of those could potentially help people who, you know, sensory issue kind of things, being overwhelmed with just too much information. And gore if you're just not into that. You can adjust your brightness. Framelit, we're definitely setting that as a streamer, because you don't want to set you don't want the frame limit going full speed as a streamer, just because that eats up a whole bunch of your GPU, CPU kind of stuff, for something that's not going to benefit the stream in any way. And you can set a bunch of upscaling stuff, that's fine. You have audio. I did appreciate it, this has already been adjusted so it didn't blow everyone's eardrums out, but the audio started at 50%, and I do appreciate games not starting their volume at 100% and blowing out my eardrums. It does look like they are going to have a committed accessibility area, but it's not here yet. And that just boils down to, this is early access. So without further ado, let's pop in here. Okay, so we already have new classes. I believe when we played the demo, these 3 were available right at the beginning, and you could unlock her. But these 2 weren't even present. And you do see that it has room for more access to stuff. Now, looking at the characters we have here, basically the way it works is the SWAT guy was just straight up, has like straight up guns. It's very straight on, just your regular like soldier, shoots guns, that kind of nonsense. I believe you get a turret with that one. No, I think you got the turret. You get a turret. Then you have the tank. The tank gets stuff like a shotgun, far more durable, but nowhere near as proficient at knocking down targets quickly. And then the engineer had like a Tesla gun and all sorts of nonsense. But they each have their own bonuses. Like you see, the SWAT guy reloads faster, this person has more health, and this one has a faster skill cooldown. I'm just gonna go ahead and choose engineer because I like that. Alright, well, it's lovely that they give me the icons and say coming soon, without actually, like, this whole dialogue is just missing. Again, early access. So don't worry, chat. Oh, you have to select the map first. I mean, these all say coming soon here. Well, that just went into it. Never mind. That's fine. So, like Survivor-style games, I don't have to sit there and like aim my gun at stuff. It does have an auto-aim to it. So, the game is what's referred to as a bullet hell style game, where basically things start to just keep swarming you, and it becomes harder and harder to move around. And like before, you do gain skills. And then what ends up happening is as you gain levels, you do that. But they're adding manual aim in the future too. Yeah, I think the game kind of showed me the value of that was Halls of Torment. where they have a button where you can switch between automatic and, like, targeted aim. Because there was points you want to just focus. I'm going to keep leaning in on the taser. Because I believe later it gets to be, like, chain lightning kind of thing. So it's going to be rough for us at the beginning, but it should ramp up well. Which I felt this game did a really good job of that kind of aspect of the game, of making it so there was value in, like, leaning in on one thing, whereas some games it's just, what abilities do you get? Okay, now just level. Like, Vampire Survivors falls into that one kind of deal, is that you go in, you just have to decide what abilities you get, and otherwise it's dodge. But, like, deciding between X and Y didn't really matter that much. There's a yellow arrow, which is a crate. I believe that gives you an instant level. Oh no, they changed it. Okay. So they changed it, because I believe before that would give you levels. Enhance your taser into a Tesla gun. Yup. SOS signal detected. That's new as well. Okay. Let's see. Lets you rescue the person and take the shelter in the military base. And read the level. Okay. So this is the kind of thing where I was talking about where it's like squad based. So now I'm 2 people. And this does continue to escalate, as you've noticed. So, like, we're starting to get our first sprinters and all that. I do remember from when we did the demo that I got the helicopter, like, one time, and I'm like, I will never get this again, even though it was, like, really effective. Because it was so obnoxiously loud. Yeah, so I'm mostly leaning in on the engineer's Tesla gun for now. Because as you can see, it's actually pretty solid. The downside is by going into just one piece of equipment. It's still very loud. I had the volume very low in this game. Try that. I was wondering if it sounded loud. Oh, the helicopter is still very loud. Did I make the volume of the game too quiet? It's still showing about halfway up on that. Alright. I'm glad I leaned into the Tesla. We're clearing the packs pretty easy. Oh. So as you can see, if anyone gets into that circle, they consider hitting us. We got another SOS. They've also got a another survivor. Alright. So now I've got a full squad. Okay. Suspicious pen drive. We could apparently steal life. I'm assuming on hit. We can increase our armor, or we could have our weapons instantly reload if we take damage. I'm gonna do this. Life leech seems like it'd be real strong. But like, so starting, the SWAT guy starts with a pistol, the engineer started with his little zappy gun, and the tank starts with a shotgun. Okay, we apparently hit danger level 2 that the Horde has evolved, which is new. Hey, thanks, Bio. I'm just running into the stuff badly. Getting distracted by symbols on the map that I don't know what are. It's a little red dot showing on the map. I don't know what it is. Alright. So increased skill damage, skill cooldown. Oh, the red dot in the minimap is showing me where that heart was. Okay. Got our SOS signal. So one thing I appreciate about all these things is it makes you actually want to travel the map. A lot of the Survivor style game, like early on to unlock stuff, you running around the map. But otherwise, you usually just go like grab the one item and you just kind of hold your position. There's no reason. Sure, we'll put down electric turret. Now we have our first boss, which is interesting because this guy didn't exist in the first one. They had it was just what was effectively a really big version of the. Oh, that's not what you want. Hey, Mr. Lamprey. I see if you're playing this. Yeah, it just went early access release, and the devs are kind enough to get out keys. We had checked out the demo during Next Fest, not the summer one, but in the fall. It was a good time. Can I get a shout out for Mr. Lamprey UK if possible? Alright. But yeah, so it's a Survivor style game, so you get. I was trying to run to the box over here. But yeah, for those who don't know Mr. Lamprey UK, absolutely fantastic content creator on the platform. Currently has the world record for the highest kill count run ever streamed. I believe the longest run for this ever streamed. We'll go with the instant reload on damage, because that'll be useful for if I ever get in a pinch, that I can potentially pull myself out of the pinch real fast. Alright, so we killed that guy. Good fun. Still haven't unlocked the medic yet. Gotcha. Yeah, it's fine. I'm leaning really hard into a lot of the engineer stuff. Yeah. We'll just walk right into a zombie, it's fine. Builds character. Alright, yeah, so that life leech is real minor. Alright. Which team trio have you been leaning towards? I literally just started playing this. I did play the demo, but like the demo back when that was around, didn't really have much choice for stuff. Magnet range, weapon fire rate, and movement speed. Alright, I'm gonna... Like, a lot of these games actually getting the pickup range is really good. Oh, Locust. I don't like that. Things got a whole lot denser here. I do appreciate that they make you actually stop to pick up stuff. Getting our chest over here. Like, you need to get on that boss, but they keep offering me, you know, loot. Get an XP modifier. Alright, boss is handled. Yeah, so that guy who's running at us there, that used to be the only boss in the demo. And the way they would make it harder is to throw like 4, 5, 6 of them at you. And I believe he was slightly faster than you are. So you had to move straight away from him, or he would catch you with his hammer when he ran up to you. I got another fast-moving enemy there. And if he hits you, he hits hard. Oh, yes, he does. I remember that part. The horde has evolved again. I now have 3, like, elite or otherwise dangerous enemies to contend with at the same time. Okay. Wait. The go fight is... I'll check in a minute. I can't see if someone asked about Ko-Fi or... Oh, that was me just catching it to the face. Being distracted by all the different moving objects. Oh, never mind. He actually caught me with that. Okay. I guess Ko-Fi bot just randomly announced. Okay, I mean, I guess that's fair. Alright. So we did die, but we got a bunch of kills and all that kind of stuff. So we get a whole bunch of different achievements, free items, me and the boys, and all that kind of stuff. And go to training and make our people better. So it does have the whole thing with all that. So I want to say the demo you could only get down to like here. Like all the rest of this was inaccessible. Alright. A lot of these games, getting XP early is usually a solid win. Alright, well this time we'll go to start with the swap person. So the test your skills in endless mode, how long can you survive? The standards game mode on steroids. Get ready for a much tougher challenge. Can you survive the night until dawn? Alright, so you got a whole bunch of different modes. That it looks like the idea is you play the first mode, and once you can survive the whole night where you start the next the day, then you can worry about like the next one. This time we went SWAT. I'm just gonna go and lean all the way into just, because I believe I want to say he gets an assault, right? So most of the characters get multiple choices when they level up their weapons. So what'll end up happening is I will switch from the pistol to maybe getting a submachine gun or rifle. I don't remember what characters get what. But I want to say for like raw damage, this character was one of the better ones. Like the engineer gets way more AoE, but out of his main weapon, I mean. Okay. Or not, or it just gives you a submachine gun. Weapon fire rate. Oh, I got too close. All right. It does make you kind of wonder if this Liberate is actually worth considering. Like, instead of getting the 3 people, you just lean really hard into making one person as maxed as possible. I have a feeling that, unless you got some good stuff to go with it, that's probably not the winning move. Alright, let's see if we can draw him away from that spot to pick up all that XP we just piled up in one spot. Let's see. Health regeneration. Okay. That should be okay to push harder on your leader. Yeah. Okay. And like for the moment, we were just leaning in on like those main guns, not so much special abilities. Which we are now at the point where it's like, yep. Went ahead and used a reroll. The rerolls probably won't matter much until we start getting, like, a lot more stuff unlocked that we can start being picky and choosy, being like, oh, I really want this ability. It'll be much better for my current build than that other ability. And then, you know, dealing with the RNG around that. Typical Survivor-style game stuff. Weapon fire rate. Alright. And I'm assuming when it comes to... Did minefield. I'm assuming when it comes to, like, the magnets and that kind of stuff dropping, it's just enemies have a chance of dropping it kind of thing. Because there's not, notice, like, crates to open or whatever. Alright. Yeah, so some of the art games I've gotten the calendar for, like, potentially doing today is, like I mentioned, we have Lost in the Open is the sponsored segment later in the stream. We're also going to be checking out probably Xenonauts 2, which is a tactical turn-based game. We'll probably be playing both those games later on the stream, is what I'm thinking. Skill damage, we'll go for the lifesteal. Okay, so when we maxed out Saw Blade, it went from just, like, decent to just being way better, because it added a bunch more Saw Blades spinning much faster. Okay. We'll go with Grenade Trail this time. Yeah, I wasn't sure what to do with the, for the sponsored segment, the bot. Normally I leave the chat bot running just for the sponsored segment when I do one. But this one's such a short sponsored segment, because it's just a demo, that is like, okay, but if we use just like a regular timer thing, it's going to only do it twice. So, I might leave it on for a bit longer than normal, see with that dodge chance. I actually think that'll be super useful for us. Maybe. Other options, I'm assuming dodge chance in the context of this game is when I should have taken damage that I just don't. But the enemy's still on top of me. That'll still be a whole thing. Alright. I do very much appreciate that the devs of this game just leaned into it's like, look man, we all know what this is. Yet another zombie survivors. We're like, look, we know it's another zombie game, it's another survivor game. Like, you've seen a bunch. Which is the reason, like, when I first played this on the channel, I actually had very low expectations for it. And I was like, okay, you know, I'll play it as just kind of meme, like, this will be some, like, really terrible zombie game that, you know, is half-cooked and all that. And then we play, I'm like, okay, this is actually pretty decent. Like, that was, because we played this and it was Humance at the same time. Humanits or whatever it is. And Humanits is supposed to be, like, properly 3D, you can pan the camera, that kind of thing. Project Zomboid-esque game that looked promising. And like, alright, we'll check that out. And then this was the game that I'm like, you know, okay, Humans will probably be like in rough shape, but you know, maybe something good on its way. And at this game, I was like, yeah, I'll include it. It'll probably be, you know, it'll probably be like, you know, low effort, not great. And then this is actually pretty good. And then at the time, Humans was like really, really rough. Now I've seen, I guess they had a new update for Humanits. I don't know how you pronounce it. Like Humans this past week or so that I tuned to someone else playing it just to check how it'd come along. It actually looks like it's in a pretty good place now. Because back when you tried it the first time, like, this is terrible. Like, we played for only a little bit, and like the combat feels awful. Like I can't see through half the terrain that's covering my camera. Like there is just a lot of mistakes this game. But after about a year, it's looking like it might actually be in a good place. I haven't checked out the new update myself, but I need to. Okay. Yeah, I really appreciate the way that they have, like, events on the map making you move around. Well, not making you, but making it desirable to move around. Okay. Now, with all these games, it's like usually pretty hard to survive to the end towards the beginning. Unless you get like a really powerful synergy going on. And usually what happens is there's a meta progression through like you'll gain money in this match that you take out of this match that you purchase your upgrades. And that you're expected to have a bunch of upgrades before you start winning. Again, more and more sprinters in here, more and more of the ones that explode when they die. And it gets more intense. Yes. That's the idea, is you're expected to fail when you're first playing, that it builds up more and more till it begins to overwhelm the capabilities you have. Alright, we had literally no choices but the engineer. I think we're getting down to not a whole lot of options there. I'm also curious if, like, you can only get certain upgrades from the crates, whereas other ones you can only get from levels or something like that. Because there's been a few of these games that have done that kind of thing. Sure, more weapon fire rate. I will say, as fast as these things move, it also kind of forces you to move around as well. Yeah, I lingered too long. I wanted the money. I got greedy. Because the money is the meta progression. That's what's let me do stuff like increase my fire rate, my health, and that kind of nonsense, unlock new things outside. I don't know what this game... I don't remember what this game has specifically. You know, where it's like character. I mean, the character unlocks, I believe, in this game were tied to achievements, like killing X number of zombies, doing this, that. You covered the bomb with, or the loot with poison, so I can't grab it safely. Okay. Try this again. Let's see. I don't think the crates give upgrades, just perks, levels upgrade. Gotcha. Let's go ahead and get in our med kit. This is more dynamic than I expected. Yeah, that's the thing that made it interesting, is like, right now I only have the 3 characters, but once you get to the point where you start having different options of characters in there, that's when it seemed to have a lot more, like, flexibility in how it all works. That I could bring in, like, the lady with the bow, and I want to say, I think her gimmick was her arrows pass through targets. I can't remember. But it's kind of one of those things that there was, almost entirely different strategies in how you approach your characters, depending on who you put in your group. Okay. The one downside, that seems like it still has it, is there's like a single track of music. So, if that does get tiresome, we'll turn it off and turn on our own music. Or I think it has that track, and then when the timer gets to... I can't remember if it's like 15 minutes. There's a certain point that's like... the game just immediately escalates to 11. That's, you know, your final stand kind of thing. The horde evolves, danger level 4. Hey. Got the achievement, don't hug me, I'm scared. Alright. Because I did have a few people also ask me when I was going to play this, since I had played the demo. And it was one of those ones that, like, after I played that, I was like, I actually look forward to playing that again some point. Alright. And I'm primarily leaning in on just the regular weapons. So not so much the special abilities in this run. Or special abilities, not special weapons. Alright, getting bullied a bit in the corner. Like, I vaguely remember the end of the demo in this was these guys, the big guys with the axe that chase you. They seriously put like 30 or 40 of them on the map. Just a completely unreasonable number of them. I don't know if it's in it long. Oh, okay, it wasn't long enough. Alright. Okay, didn't quite finish it off. That's what I've been aiming to do, is just bully it real fast and finish it off so I wouldn't have to worry about it. Okay. Starting to get crowded with bosses here. Yeah. So I was trying to watch those arrows, but yeah. So you can see like the damage, the SFG did 413,000. But I got a whole hug me, don't hug me, I'm scared. Yeah, so we're unlocking a bunch of things that I don't know what half of this stuff is. Alright. Okay, so I get 4. And so I'm focusing on stuff that'd be the long-term gains, like permanent increase to XP and permanent increase to money. Because those are the things that are likely to carry forward in the front. Okay, so we've unlocked the Huntress, who's a range specialist, does traps and critical hits, so high critical hit damage. Gotcha. And so after we kill enough zombies... Oh, it must be it only counts if that character themselves individually kills them. I see. Because, like, the tank has all 5,000 kills there. That has 2,000 something kills left. She has all 5,000. He has 52. I see. And I'm assuming that won't unlock until we survive the whole night. It's kind of interesting. Okay, so one thing I'm doing, this is happening. Because it's the same track for like 15 straight minutes again and again. Besides, this is our canon. This guy's been walking around like blasting rock music. He's got his lo-fi going, he's keeping calm. He realizes if you panic, you die. He's just trying to keep mellow. He is facing the apocalypse, but by God, it's not going to bring him down. And this time I'm going to lean in on the special abilities. Like, this is why you can release Survivor to get solo grind one at a time. Yeah, that makes sense. Now you're like, I'm trying to do this one character. Yeah, no, it's just the fact that even though I had the tank with me in the party and he was killing stuff, it doesn't count for him unless I chose the tank at the start, which is fine. It's just kind of a weird choice to me. Alright. Huntress it is. Because I only needed 52 kills to get this guy to unlock his next weapon. And we're gonna get our 52 kills. The worst thing is, I've got him. If I have to choose, like, other stuff, I'm gonna, you know, go ahead and just give it to the new character. Got the achievement Call of Duty. Oh, I guess you could see that too. I wasn't... For a moment, it looked like his Steam stuff. Alright. Alright, more crit damage. That's fine. I feel like crit damage would be more relevant for, thing. Alright, so, rain of arrows. I think the last person will want the engineer for the special ability cooldown thing. Now, granted, I don't know if that applies if I didn't choose that character at the beginning. So, where we could do a lot of AoE, we're really kind of crap at taking down stuff nearby us. Alright. If this is loud, I apologize. I'm gonna grab it just to see what it is. During the demo, it was unreasonably loud. Okay, it's still a little on the loud side, but nowhere near as bad as it was in the demo. In the demo, that thing would come screaming by every 40 seconds, and you were just like, please, I'm never taking this again. Ever. Alright. Alright. Yeah, so it seems like the Billies are really going to suffer with the sprinters. Just by the fact that they'll target the sprinters and only get individual ones. So I do need a mix. Well, I'll just walk into that, that's fine. I do wonder if that Eagle Eye applies to the party or just the Huntress. Gotcha. It would make sense, because otherwise it'd be pretty weak. So it'd be hard for it to compete with other bonuses. I did notice, grabbing that crit, that it went from being just bullied around by the zombies, so I can just shy of just kind of stand and hold my ground. Okay. Crit chance 42%. Is that, you're saying that's wild for this game? Oh, that's gonna line up real well. Hey, man. I see you stay right there. Yeah. That actually wasn't as impressive as I thought it was going to be. Yeah. Well, no, there's a lot of games that they'll actually let you get over 100% crit. And usually the way that works is you can have crit crits. Like, I've seen a couple of games that allow for that. You pick up an 9 for crit chance? Yeah, I've got 2 of them. Or 3 of them, maybe. I've been leaning into crit on this one. Oh, walked in that corner. Alright, so that'll be grenade trail fully upgraded. Just getting myself really hurt. The biggest upset in the game so far was the medic. Upset is when you got the medic, you're like, wow, that wasn't worth the effort. Or upset is when you got the medic and go, oh my god, this character is way past amazing. Even more crit. Worse than bad? Well, that's disappointing to hear. That's a thing that they can just do a balance pass on. My assumption is the medic would be around, like, regen on your group. Because I've definitely seen a lot of these games that they'll have, like, a regen tankish kind of build, and usually people don't like it. And a damage over time weapon? I like damage over time. You just have to have a very different playstyle with damage over time. Usually damage over time for killing a single target is really strong. It just takes warm-up, like wind-up time. That the idea is like little individual rubbish zombies would be bad for it because it just takes too long to wind up. But on a tough target, if it's a properly implemented DOT, the idea is the longer you can keep putting damage on it, the faster and faster it escalates. That's just me hugging stuff. Yeah, this run's not going well because I have a very big lack of the quick single target damage. So I can't dispatch up close individual zombies particularly easy. Yep, no, I'll check it out when I get there. I get plus 10 happiness. Is happiness. Wasn't able to stand on it long enough. That's probably it. Happiness will happiness. I don't know. I don't believe I've ever experienced this thing you're referring to. I find it confusing conceptually. No, I'm teasing. I knew that was coming. I just didn't have enough single targets, so I would just sit there and watch one zombie run at me and just go, man, I really wish we'd kill that one zombie. That one zombie specifically coming in. Alright, so we unlocked the assault rifle. Extra unlocks. Cool. You get happy eating a potato like Zomboid? Something like that. Alright. Ah, the team level is 8. Okay. Alright. So... Gotcha. And then later he gets a turret. Okay. So that's the idea, is we would grind up the individual kills to unlock the new abilities, because now I believe, even if I don't choose a soldier, the soldier now gets a next tier of upgrade for their main weapon. So they go from what they started with to SMG, and then after SMG they get another level of upgrades. So I think it was an assault rifle or a sniper rifle. And I want to say the difference was... Yeah, I was going to say, I want to say the difference was... The assault rifle is kind of the same concept as the SMG, but faster firing rate and more damage. Versus the sniper rifle would just kind of pin a single shot. But when it pins that single shot, it penetrates through stuff and it hits the stuff behind that and all that. So I will say they definitely made the helicopter way less annoying than it was when he did the demo. Like, the demo was seriously just ear-deafeningly loud compared to everything else. And then it's those things that literally happens every n number of seconds. And you're just going, why? I think a sniper rifle targets higher level mobs instead of the closest. Yeah, that sounds right as well. Just leaning in on that Tesla. Okay, so that gives you $800. Which, I get one or two of those, and that means we can just buy better equipment right away. So we're going to see how much the engineer can hold the ground by himself. Just get a feel for how that works. We can also see if by having just one person, if I can actually run out of upgrades for that one person, what happens. I assume it would just give you money as, like, the option. And there you have it. So it seems like that'd be a good way to grind money real fast. Because you look at it, we've got 1,200 bucks here. And we got those 1,200 bucks. 800 of that was just skipping the one upgrade. And like each of those I could actually potentially grab, you know, an extra 420 bucks. That's an interesting consideration, like putting yourself at a strong disadvantage for actually winning the round, but making a bunch of money, so you're kind of incurring additional challenge for that. Yep, give me $100. Okay. All right. I mean, so far it's working all right. I imagine this is the big problem you run into is as you go through the round, you get a little ways in, and then suddenly it goes from everything seems to be going fine to you just can't scale your damage anymore while things are scaling up around you. That you just fall behind. I also wonder if it'll keep offering me other characters or not. Like, if I could keep taking the money and at some point I'd be like, okay, I'm being overwhelmed, it's time to take one of the other characters. Imagine for balance, you probably would want it to be you kind of commit to it and you can't back out. We have terrible damage on that boss. All right. Time to find out. By now I should have, now it just keeps offering it to me. Because it's 3 instances we've grabbed it now of the, like 800 or whatever it was. I'm assuming Magna in this case is how far I can grab stuff is made larger. Alright, I want to get rid of this boss before he becomes too much of a problem. There we go. Yep. Alright, so next time we see a survivor one, I need to take another character. That's interesting though, because I'm making a lot of money. Like a lot of money compared to what I was making. It's just now we don't have any growth potential on this character. 420? Oh, you know that wasn't a mistake. You know that was absolutely a strategic decision on their behalf. You know what? I just want to see how far it goes. We're going to keep taking the money and see how far we can go with this. I know 100% we won't be able to get super far in this so far as progression, but I'm wondering if we'll make such an obnoxious amount of money doing this that we're going to be able to, like, level up a whole bunch of abilities. Okay. Thank you for the follow. Welcome to stream. So it is concerning that I'm not seeing the money in the top right, but we've grabbed what, like 5 instances of like $800 and probably 6 or so instances of the $420. And so you consider that math versus like the less than $2,000 we would have gotten doing this normally, maybe a little bit more if we were killing faster. It seems like for grinding money that this is like a very intentional thing. I'm also wondering if there'll be an achievement or challenge or something that if we manage to do this without, like, get a certain amount of progress without taking on another person. Like, it will get some additional bonus or whatever. Oh, it was not out of the way. Alright. I don't have nearly enough damage, and the bosses are just starting to pile up now. I've got, I think, 4 separate boss arrows rolling around now. But still getting money. Who cares if we can't wake up in the morning? We're getting paid. All right. It's so hard to make any kind of move. Got one last set of payouts. Somehow I'm not at almost dead. Is it that I misunderstood that the shield doesn't... Oh, is stone shield like just damage immunity? I was under the impression it was going to be damage reduction. Oh, we are so dead. It's like 1,000? Okay, so it's not immunity, it's just a ridiculous amount. Okay. So that was interesting. So how much money did I make? We got 15 here. So get that money. Oh. That's fine. Less damage, ability cooldown. Your abilities deal more damage, increase the pickup range, increases weapon fire rate. Sure. Oh, those just automatically cost more? That says I have 2 training points. Alright, whatever. It's fine. Okay. So sadly, it wasn't actually enough to get that one set up. Because I wish I could see what all their abilities were when we get there. Because I would like to actually read what those weapons are. When you click on it, it already commits to it. Oh, I guess there's no mouse over on it either. Okay. Alright, and then the third tier of upgrades is coming soon, I understand. Kill 73 more bosses. Oh, 183 health packs. Okay. That's certainly a thing. Hey, Dark Strider, how's it going? Well, I at least hope the school training was productive and everything. So let's immediately try and go for maybe the sniper rifle. Basically try to set up with the sniper rifle for taking down the hardened targets, and then like the Tesla gun for dealing with the packs. And maybe the Huntress for all that crit damage, so that the sniper rifle can do way more when I tag the bigger boss enemies. I'm glad it's just handing me weapon upgrades. Oh, right, because I keep buying the thing that gives me more XP faster. Which the entire reason I grabbed that is, like, XP is directly going to make it so I can progress much quicker and get more options in these. Okay, so this time we're actually getting a team together and trying to go farther. Okay. Sure. Let's lean in on the XP thing. Let's see, taking the money until your weapon is maxed out is better? I have no idea. So, because I feel like once you get these two, when you open these rescue things, it does just give you levels. Go ahead and take the hunters for now. That gives me crit. So I'm mostly using her just for that crit buff. Okay. You know, I got you referring to with that. Get the minor bit of lifesteal. Get the engineer. Definitely felt like Olay there, just snaking through the group. Well, no, that's what I wanted. I mean, it's fine. Actually, boom. It's still really not what I wanted. It's fine. Grenade it is. I'm mostly trying to upgrade the Tesla or upgrade my rifle if it can be upgraded. I actually don't know if it can. I assume it can. Probably 5 levels. But that's a Ko-Fi thing. I have to look. I think something happened with Ko-Fi that the bot got a setting change that's announcing itself regularly, because I don't think I had that set up to do that. I also don't necessarily think it's a bad thing. I actually do need to be better about promoting my Patreon and my Ko-Fi, because like people are pretty aware now that streamers only make about 50% of whatever a sub costs per sub, versus Patreon. That is that. A potato? Absolutely. Why wouldn't I take a potato? Dodge. Dodge doesn't help you when you want a snack. You know what does help? A potato. Hey, Pronger, how's it going? Everyone's probably like, you took some damage there. You probably wish you had that dodge, didn't you? No. I have a potato. You know what you get from potatoes? Potato chips. You know what you can get from potatoes? French fries. You know what else you can get from potatoes? You can get yourself some poutine. I mean, you need more ingredients for poutine, but the point is, it is an integral part of poutine. And the absence of potato certainly means no poutine. Running in there for that box is how I die. Doom runs on my potato. Yup. I really want to get to the next thing, but unless I can get some points into that Tesla, the Tesla gun, I just really don't have the AoE. So even though I am actually killing a lot of targets in a straight line from the sniper rifle, it's not like cutting a corridor I can sneak through to grab all the XP down there.
Thank you Rumshackle for subscribing for 8 months.
Thank you, Rumshackle, for the Prime Gaming sub. You only get one of those a month and you chose to use it here, and that does mean a whole heck of a lot. You've been subbed to the channel for 8 months, and I really do appreciate the support. And that really does mean a lot, so thank you again. I do hope you enjoy your advertisement-free viewing as well as access theme up. Try saying, give me a fish, give Matt fish, he'll eat for a day, but American gives you potatoes? No. Because it's pretty much illegal to own a grenade, so most people don't have grenades. Not that doesn't stop people, like, not that there isn't people who do have them, but generally speaking, it typically won't. More potato. Legal's just a guideline anyways. Yeah, but I mean, like, very genuinely when it comes to stuff like grenades, you don't typically find them out and about in the wild. Like, it's, again, not that no one has them, but it's pretty rare. Most of the people who'd want potato. I need the potato. I'd actually, like, I'm assuming I'm gonna get something for doing the potatoes at some point. Even if it's just an achievement. But why wouldn't I take the potato? But yeah, there's certain things that, you know. Grenades are the bomb yellow cart. It's on this one is where the grenades end up being here. Well, I guess I just have to take it. The universe telling you need a potato cam. Like, I've mentioned before, I probably do need to set up some kind of redeem that it wouldn't be like an actual, like, camera pointing at a potato. It'd just be like a graphic of a potato supposedly on cam. Because I'm not keeping a camera, you know, buying a camera to hook up to point at a potato. Hey, Casimir, how was the rest of your stream yesterday? Well, this is not where I want to be. Why not? Because cameras are expensive. And then it puts an extra load on my USB bus. Which means I need a better USB bus to support it. Which means even more hardware prices. And on top of that, I'm gonna need to go through and periodically replace the potato. Because, you know, the potato will go bad. And don't get me wrong, potatoes have a pretty solid shelf life and all that. But I wanted that box. I need to get more damage on the Tesla so I can bully crowds. Just buy a fake potato? Well, right, but my point with that, Paul Harvey, if I'm gonna do that, I'll just make a fake potato camera. Like, people can redeem to put a potato on the screen for 10 seconds or something. Transport. There we go. Wasn't really worth the damage. There's probably a challenge or an achievement or something if you manage to, like, collect 5 potatoes or 10 potatoes or something like that. Sure. Even more XP. I went too fast. I stepped that up before it was over. And it's time to die. Hey, Perry, how's it going? There's nothing wrong with XP. Oh, yeah, no, the XP is a perfectly solid choice. I just need more clear. Yeah, my single target was fine on that one. I just need more clear for just all the different zombies out there. Okay. So we unlocked the assault rifle. Cool. I wonder why I can't choose that one. Because it says it has a cost of 2. Maybe I have to... Oh, it's probably has to go down the tracks. Well, no, because I don't have that one. I don't really understand. What are we playing today? The 1 point in the above thing? Gotcha. So right now the plan for what we're playing today on the channel is we're starting out with this. Oh, it's yet another Zombie Survivors. A little bit later we're going to be doing Lost in the Open. That'll be a sponsored thing. So I am getting paid to play that. That'll only be like a 30-minute demo or so. They're just trying to promote that they are kickstarting it. Alright, so that gives me a turret. Let's go ahead and finish the engineer. Yeah, people still do Kickstarter. I don't do too much with Kickstarter myself, but that's mostly because like way back I kickstarted Star Citizen and I was pretty disappointed with that. Like the game's coming along fine, but like they put it as you're helping fund the game kind of thing. But I couldn't help but see a lot of things like pay-to-win mechanics of you buying access to ships and then buying land on a planet that doesn't exist in the game and that kind of stuff. And the prices were outrageous that it just rankled me the wrong way. That I gave it, like, I played it one time and I just never really gave it a chance because the monetization just bothered me too much. There are people who absolutely enjoy it. Like, it looks like it's probably a fun game. And I know a lot of people that I respect are very much into the game. It's just one of those things that I personally didn't like what happened with that. So it just bothered me too much. I don't think any less of anyone who does, is happy to support it kind of thing. People find I'm pretty unforgiving on certain monetization strategies when it comes to games. Yeah, pay to win type games suck. Yep. But yeah, now after we do the sponsored segment, I'm debating whether we're going to do Xenonauts 2 or we're gonna do something else. Let's see. Is Star Citizen a functional game now? I gave it 5 years old. Yeah. I haven't gone into this myself, but like They have like the whole crime and punishment thing has been implemented in the game. You can go around, there's quests, you can do EVA, all that kind of stuff. So there are still people saying it's like, hey, it's still techno. It's like, well, that's not fair. Like, does it have some jank and does it have some problems? Sure, that's reasonable. Are they still doing all sorts of updates that are trying to figure out what the game is? Absolutely. But that falls more into like early access than where people like, well, it'd be great if they actually released a game. It's like, I mean, it's there. I'll be ridiculously critical about not liking what they did with monetization. And I don't even know if they've improved or not. They very well could have. But yeah, like the whole thing where people are still, it's like, well, it's still not a game. It's just a tech demo. Like that kind of stuff. Like, nah, that's not fair, man. Now, I do think they might still do kind of wipes and those kind of things. Let's take the tank this time. Like, they might still do, like, wipes and those kind of things, but... You know, it's early access. I do think with how ambitious they are being with that is a game I don't, like... That is fully functional, lots of bugs, but you can get lost in the game for weeks. Yeah. Like, there's definitely a game there. And from what I understand, like, the people I know who play have nothing but positive things to say about the game, even though it does have bugs. And there can be spotty performance in certain situations and all that. Desync, from my understanding, can be a pretty bad issue at times, too. But, you consider the games out there in that genre, they're trying to do something well beyond what anyone else in that market is attempting to do. Now, with that said, I don't think they'll ever see their vision through because it's too ambitious. And this isn't criticism of those devs. It's they just keep getting more and more ambitious. The feature, like, it is feature creep the game. But I do think it'll probably amount to something really good. I just... When like, the big one that really kind of got me is they were doing a thing for a while that you could buy a plot of land on a planet that it didn't exist. The planet didn't exist, the land didn't exist, none of that existed yet. And at the time they were, man, it was something like $10,000 or something like that for one of the lots or whatever. And I looked at them like, what the absolute F? And again, I get it. The idea is that you're supporting the game and all that. But it was just one of those things that was like 100% vaporware. And for those who do not know what the term vaporware is, that's kind of like when you have the salesperson for a company comes and says, oh yeah, our product can do that. You want to do that? It could do that. It could do that. It could do that. And then that person goes back to the developer team and says, hey, our product doesn't do all these things. We need it to do that here in like 3 months, okay? And you're going... You promised what? It doesn't do that. It was never meant to do that. That isn't even in line with what we want it to do. Well, it's not snake oil. Snake oil is you're selling something that you claim does what it doesn't. So it's like pretending it's medicinal. Like, that would imply there's the actual product. Vaporware is you're effectively selling a promise that may or may not come true. Usually when it doesn't, like, it's not going to be a thing, though, with vaporware. What typically ends up happening... Okay, I accept. What usually ends up happening is they'll get back in touch with the customer and be like, hey, our salesperson promised all these things. We don't do those things. That person, usually when someone does that kind of thing, a person will usually get fired if they make promises to a potential customer that 100% was never going to happen kind of thing. Because you've just guaranteed you've lost that customer. Because you had one interaction with them that was lying. I got the achievement, trust me, I'm the engineer. So they're selling like the dream of a better game. Right. That said, I do fully think they intend on seeing that dream through. It's just, I think the reality is they keep promising more and more and more and more. And what's going to ultimately happen is reality will dictate that they can't do it. Now, the interesting thing in their situation is they've got so much money, you know, that's been like Kickstarter and everything to that studio, that as long as they don't just waste it needlessly for no apparent reason, they could keep that game developing for probably like the next 100 years and still not blow the budget. Now granted, that's usually not how it goes. Usually people sit there and go, we have all this money, okay, increase all of our spending on everything, and then gobble up that budget in like 2-3 years or whatever. You know, let's go hire some famous actors to voice line things in this game, you know, for obnoxious amounts of money. Wait, where did all our money go? And that's not me accusing Star Citizen doing that, just I found a lot of studios when they fall into a lot of money, that's what happens. Nylord says, they can develop the game for 100 not done be done. I don't think it's the kind of game you finish. There's a lot of early access games that you never finish development, you quit development. Because if you have... Oh, this is us getting hit. Because if you have any availability to speak of, or any... Basically, if you have any desire to make the game, you're still adding to it, and you're never stopping adding to it. Like, Path of Exile will never be a complete game in the sense that they're going to do major updates all the time to that game. The day they stop doing major updates is when the servers shut off. But that's kind of true of a lot of early access falls in that it's like forever development games that they just keep developing until the budget runs out or the devs burn out, and then they just shut it down, kind of thing, so far as development goes. A lot of passion games fall in that. Like I would say that's probably going to be true of Project Zomboid as well. That we're going to just keep seeing it get like those we keep seeing it get the updates it's been getting, you know, one every year or 2 years were there. Yeah, I think it'll be the same thing, is that it'll just continue getting those updates forever and ever, and then people's like, well, when is it going to be a fully finished and polished game? It's like, well, no, that's just not the nature of this game. It's a forever development game. That they'll continue to do that until they're like, you know, they look at the code one day, and the engineer's just like, you know, expletive, throws the laptop through the window, and then Project Zomboid stops getting development. Obviously, that wouldn't actually work. It's not just one person developing it. But you get the sentiment about it. That as a company, they're just like, you know what? Never mind. I don't want to do it anymore. I just can't. I think Star Citizen will be the same way. They'll keep implementing and incrementing and incrementing and incrementing and adding and adding and adding until one day they're like, you know what? F this. Shut it down. I think the same is true of No Man's Sky, though. They keep adding big expansions after expansions after expansions for free and all that. And that they'll eventually hit a point that, one day they'll just be like, okay, it's done, we're out. Not interested. Now, granted, No Man's Sky released as a full release game. But these days, like... And Terraria, yep, Terraria's the same way. Granted, they keep saying, okay, we're done, it's the last update, we quit, we're not doing it anymore. And then they see all the passion in the community, it's like, fine, we'll make another update. We're absolutely addicted to that. Yeah, well that's, I mentioned before, and I've had some people like, the terms alpha, beta, early access, release, and all that, the waters have been so muddied by them meaning different things to different companies, they're basically worthless terms anymore. Like, they were never super well defined, but it used to be like an alpha meant, it wasn't really meant for people outside, like, a couple of, you know, play testers and that to have their hands on. Like, it's a very early version, it's going to be rough, it's going to have bugs, it's just... It's not, like, you have proof of concept, which is just, does this even make sense? And then you have, like, the alpha's the next step after proof of concept. And then beta would be the first point. It's like, okay, we're going to more widely give access to this. Have people test it. And it used to be that betas were free. Like, if people go back to days of like Warcraft 1 and Warcraft 2, you could get signed up with Blizzard to have beta access to those games, which the criteria was fairly arbitrary on what you needed to have access to it, and you'd be able to play the game before anyone else did, but it'd be like the beta version. And then you would get to Release Candidate was the next one, which a lot of people wouldn't catch that name typically. But Release Candidate basically means, okay, this is what we believe is going to be the game that we are going to release, but there are a couple of more optimizations and bug fixes, like just, there's no new features coming into it. We're just kind of putting the spit polish on for the last thing. And then release would be, this is the done game. It's not like, it's not getting more updates. It's finished, it's through, it's released, you've got it, that whole thing. And then if you wanted more content, it was usually expansions. Well, that's not fair. His arrow was pointing down until the last second. But you'd have like expansions and that kind of thing that would be purchased separately, or sometimes they were free. But the idea is the expansion be treated as a completely separate add-on thing. Like DLC are treated that way a lot. That's fine. I was debating the sniper rifle because I'm assuming you have the choice of the SMG can turn to a sniper rifle or the assault rifle, but not both. But that kind of changed with how we can update software so much easier now, which is a curse and a blessing, because it used to be if a game came out buggy on the cartridge, well, congratulations, that's just the way the game is. If it was unplayably bad and you couldn't finish the story because of some horrible bug in the game was literally unfinishable. It was a completely scuffed launch and there was no recovering it. But nowadays, where we could just, you release something and an update would drop like the night of the first day or first thing the next day, dealing with all the bugs that they didn't catch. It just completely changed the entire dynamic. But yeah, so it's one of those things that when people go, but this game's early access, like, well, okay. Like, Project Zomboid's early access, but if they just smashed a 1.0 label on it and said it's released, I'd be like, that's fair. Like, yeah, that's fair. Meanwhile, we have games that have gone fully released. What was that game recently? We played it. It was an underwater city builder. There was two of them we played. There was the Abyss one, which was actually pretty decent. That was early access. But, it had early access problems of, like, there was lots of content missing. But then there was a second one we played that was full release. And I'm like, man, this is an early access game. You put it as full release, but this is very, very early access. It's like, and your entire roadmap screams early access. You just put it in as release because I guess you were concerned about people's decreasing tolerance for early access games. I'll catch up with chat the next time we hit any upgrade or whatever situation. With how frenetic this gets, I have to like focus mode on what's going on here. As is the nature of bullet hells. Okay. Bethesda hasn't put a toaster yet. Yeah. Bethesda made a toaster, it would freeze the bread. Didn't catch or ignored? I missed the context in that one. Maximo said, we will know that Starfield and Bethesda are really toaster. So as a developer, I am curious about how Starfield goes. Because people know the reputation that Bethesda's have for ages, which is that they release a game, it is a buggy mess that depends on the moderating community or the mod community to make it nowhere near as bad. That they are super jank and bug. Now Microsoft, while not perfect, it's actually really impressive what they do when it comes to stuff. When you think about the fact that the sheer variety of hardware out there, the fact that Windows runs at all, is a testament for a whole lot of things. Because some people got some real jank setups on computers that still works on. And it's not that they never have bugs, but if you're talking about quality of software between Bethesda and Microsoft, it is pretty close to polar opposites. I'm not saying Microsoft has like the least buggy software or anything like that, but Microsoft really, really, really worries about its image when it comes to a lot of things. And so now that Microsoft owns Bethesda, I am curious with the fact that Starfield got delayed a long time. My assumption was Bethesda's like, here is our whatever version of the game, and the games team at Microsoft is like, absolutely the F not. Go back and fix it. I want to see when it comes out what state it's in. Wait, what, Windows 11? Yeah, Windows 11 has been... I have had no problems with Windows 11. I actually haven't seen many people who have had problems with Windows 11. So far as, like, actually buggy stuff. It's not what I've seen. And I've been, like... I've even been on early builds and all that. Let's see. In the early 2000s, I used to play test about 20 games a week. Studios wanted us to publish to our network of 15,000 retail stores. If a game wasn't tested, bug-free, and good all around, it went to the garbage. Yep. Oh yeah, that was like one of the things that... So back in the days of Atari's, games got so buggy, like it just about killed the game industry. But what ended up happening is one of the things that made Nintendo really big in the video game industry is they went... Like at first they were kind of just whatever, the games were kind of just a mixed bag. But they said, okay, we're going to have a standard. You have to buy a license with us. We're going to validate your game. And if it doesn't meet these criteria, you're on your own. Like, we won't officially publish and all that. But, I mean, if you compare Windows 11 with any other Windows release, though, I wouldn't say it was buggy. It had decisions that people didn't like. Like, they had the decision that your motherboard had to support certain security settings. I don't remember if they backed off of that or not. Like, there was that kind of stuff. But, as far as, like, the operating system running on the hardware it said it would support, like, they had two bad updates happen. Like, that is a true thing. But, like, again, you think about the vast majority of different hardware configurations they have to support, and the fact that it even works is just a big thing. There's Microsoft built for knowledge for decades and how to make crap work on all kinds of hardware. Yep. And yet, you get like other stuff, and they're like, well, you're using the second most popular video card type. Our game won't run on it. So, it's just one of those things. I'm curious when Starfield drops. Is it going to look like a Bethesda title, or is it going to look like a Microsoft title in regards to the bugs and stability and support? Because you can, like, if you don't, like, we can ignore the Windows thing and where people have, like, all their stances in that. If you look at, like, Microsoft game releases, because that's what we're directly comparing here. You know, you look at, like, the Xbox releases, you look at Halo, you look at those. Are they bug-free? No. But by and large, compared to the way so much of the industry is now, they're pretty good so far as being not too terrible on bugs. I cornered myself going for that. Alright. Trust me, I'm an engineer. So we've unlocked the blaster and the laser. Cool. I'm also trying to think of when I want to do the switchover. I don't think we're going to do where I play this for, like, 4 or 5 hours and do the switchover. Just because I don't think that'd be a good move on my part. I think we'll do, like, one more round to check stuff out. So, you have, like, a giant EMP thing. choose you to start this time. But, yeah, like, when you think about, let's see, please hold, need to heal my horse. It ran and got cornered? What? I assume you're talking about Skyrim. Looks like a filler game. Yeah, no, and that's been true of most Survivor-style games. And when we're talking about is like with streaming as far as filler game goes, when you're talking that a filler game is a game that's like, okay, I can hop into this. I don't have some like long-standing playthrough where if you've missed a couple of streams of it, you're trying to figure out what the heck is even going on. Nope, that was a different one. I haven't messed with any of the animals yet in Farming Simulator. Like, I realized if I had done a map that was just like a, you know, straightforward farm, you rent a field, you plant your crops. I mean, one, actually, it wouldn't make that big of a difference because I would still be waiting for those crops to grow. Because I think it did the math as something like 8 or 12, I think it's closer to 12 hours from the point you plant a crop before it, like 12 real life hours before it goes from when you planted it to the point that you can take it out of the ground and sell it. Okay, so definitely seeing that the Huntress is a much, much slower start character than the others. Let's see. Farm Simulator 22 has massive production lines there. You could produce over 60 things, some requiring 6 inputs. It's a hidden gem if you like or of Factorio and Automate games. Yeah, the thing that made me curious about that side of it is, like, for the automation, because is figuring out some of the jobs and all that. It's like, okay, well, how do I wire the buildings into each other? Like, I obviously haven't looked into that because I'm not that far in the game. But I get the idea of, like, you take the logs, you take it to, you know, you drop the logs yourself off to the sawmill, and then they go in there. It produces a whole bunch of, you know, planks, and you take those planks over to, I'm just going to say things, not like the actual, be correct, like the furniture store, and then it turns out the buildings have a built-in distribution and load balancing. Okay. So what you're saying is I could take my sawmill and instead of saying sell the planks, I could say store the planks. And that there is some means for it to say, okay, take these planks from this sawmill to, I'm gonna say furniture. I don't know if it uses planks, but the furniture store. We'll just pretend it uses planks if I'm wrong. Oh, and there's a distribute option. Okay. Then we have to, like, buy a truck and hire a person to drive the truck, or does it just wink, wink, nudge, nudge, it showed up over there? Either would be fine. I think the wink, wink, nudge, nudge, it showed up over there is the most realistic. You pay a distribution fee for the wink, wink, nudge, nudge. Sounds good. Because that's the thing is, like, okay, I don't think... The game doesn't seem to be set up well for, like, having a random vehicle that serves a purpose show up on the road and transport stuff on your behalf. Which is, again, totally fine. Alright, do I want to go with the engineer again or the tank? I think the engineer is the correct choice because he's got better AoE. But let's just see what happens. Because it does seem like generally having lots of clear, so like just weak enemy clear, feels like it's the better use of your build setup. Because like the bosses are dangerous and all that, but if you got much of like little garbage out of the way, the bosses aren't nearly as problematic. Which is the one thing I think is going to be, that's what I was hoping, multi-shot. And I assume as I upgrade multi-shot, each upgrade gives me an additional projectile. I'll have to catch up with the next item upgrade to read that. It'll take me a minute. It is one of the downsides of the game like this, is it makes it harder to keep up with chat. Because while I'm in the middle of fighting, like, there's no breathers to read. Okay. Let's see. You can do that with auto drive. Like, that combines 2 working fields, with 1 auger uploading them and 2 trucks unloading the auger. Wait a minute. Next. All I have to do is drink a beer and watch. Gotcha. I'm assuming that's a mod? Reroll that. Is a mod, gotcha. Yeah, because I saw you experimenting that when we raided you, that you were doing something where you're showing like the tracks that it looked like you're effectively saying, all right, this tractor, drive on this lane to get from here to here. There's your path. You know, to get from this building to that building to, you know, wire it up, that kind of thing. I'm like, okay, this is definitely mod territory. Because, like, the UI just didn't align with anything I saw in Farm Sim yet. Okay. But yeah, so like the whole thing with the survivors element is just the whole like squad-based thing where they each have their set things. It kind of gives you a lot more strategy you can go into about what you want to do with this. And so it's just kind of a neat approach to adding some variation to it. I don't think this will be the next thing taking Twitch by storm that'll, you know, be relevant a week from now or whatever. But it definitely feels like another entry into the genre that has a good way of kind of doing its own thing as well. It's also interesting because the individual characters you have, they all have their own targeting. So they do target based on like closest, or there's some stuff that changes the rules. So it makes positioning more relevant in that, like, if I'm trying to spread the damage out to more targets, I want to adjust my positioning to try and hit in multiple directions at once. Whereas if I'm trying to just like bully my way through a crowd, it encourages me to get close to where I'm trying to bully through to draw all 3 of them to shooting at that same target. Sure. Alright, who's over here? Let's go over here and take care of it. Get wrecked, boss. Don't even get a chance to use your moves. That magnet would be really good if I can get to it. Because we got a ton of XP down, I'm just having difficulty actually getting to said XP. Okay. I am curious what the whole thing with the potato is. I assume they have achievements, something like you get 6, 8, 10, whatever number of potatoes. Does that? Like, that's one game I wanna get into is Captain of Industry. Like, we messed with it before on stream. It's not something that does any well on Twitch, but I think the reason it doesn't do well is the exact same thing that's going on with me, is I want to play the game, but I kind of want to wait till it's closer to done to play the game. Because, like, I'm already looking at it going, okay, I don't, like, while it's in this earlier stage, I don't want to get into it to just, like, start over and get into it. I want to wait till it's, like, mostly together and all that before I mess with it. I have been finding lately... Want me to tell you? I don't remember what the context was for it. ADHD and all that. Oh, the potato? Is it for an achievement? Like, if it's something that's supposed to be, like, a secret and I'm not guessing correctly, then don't spoil. But if it's just, like, an achievement or you get enough of them and you unlock, then that's fine. Because I'm figuring that's exactly what it is. You get X number of them and you get something back. It's more a joke. Gotcha. No achievement? That's sad. There should be an achievement for getting enough of them, because you are giving up an upgrade for a potato. So if we do it n number of times, it doesn't have to give me anything tangible, but it's like, hey, this person for some reason decided to grab the potato 30 times. Yeah, no, it's probably fine. If it's just a joke, that's probably fine. Not really liking these options. The third potato says the potato's a lie. They do nothing. Oh, I didn't notice. I already grabbed more than 3 potatoes. I'm gonna die soon. I didn't even see what hit me, but okay. I believe it. I just didn't see the thing actually caught me. Alright. It is interesting that it keeps mentioning the unlock stuff. Even though it's like... I already have a bunch of stuff like unlocked with that. Alright. It's a Portal Easter egg with Valve number 3 joke. Ah, I see why it's number 3 then. Yeah, it's like, okay, the potato is a lie. It's like, alright, you're making Portal the cake is a lie. And then combine it with the whole potato GLaDOS thing. Sorry about that yawn. But I do think that'll be it probably for yet another Zombie Survivors. What is this message? Make sure it's nothing I need to worry about right now. I'll have to check that later. But so I still enjoyed this game. I think this is a good game for not for streaming, but for me just playing in general. I think it does suffer for the same problem of playing Survivor style games on Twitch as like your regular content. Is they're very repetitious, which isn't bad when you play it because you do feel like you get progression, you do your unlocks, you get those little things. And what would happen is I'm just gonna click through this. We would. Well, I mean, actually, the other maps aren't available yet, but we would eventually get through the night. Unlock the endless mode, and we would survive long enough the endless mode. We would get the hardcore mode. Unfortunately, it is early access, so Green Hell is going to be the next map. It's coming soon. We have no information, and it looks like they have 3 more planned maps at least, and we don't have information. But it also looks like they have 3 more characters. And now the reality is they could actually make it so they have way more than 3 characters. It's just one of those things that they could easily just make it scroll. Kind of like what happened with Vampire Survivors. They came out the game, they had a handful of characters, and then it blew up and they just kept adding to it. They would 100% do that. But yeah, it is a nice little twist on the genre where you have like the squad you choose of the 3 of them. So it does make me curious. People mentioned that the medic, they were disappointed in the character, like that she is not instant damage, but damage over time. I am curious about how it goes, because normally in these kinds of games, damage over time carries on individual targets if you can keep the damage on them, whereas it sucks on groups of targets. But it could just be they're undertuned. It wouldn't be the first time. It's early access. That's when that's going to happen. Anyways, with that said, what I'm going to do is stop the recording for the YouTube side,